I want to share this with you and be a little bit raw and authentic and share with you some of what I was just going through. I had a flare up today with the pain, and I haven't really had one in a long time. It's been several months probably since I even had any type of flare up. A little bit of tiny flare ups here and there, but this one was a bit more than what I'm used to, and it's been a long time since I had a flare up like this. It was just right here through this, and not so much painful so much as it affected movement. And when I tried to do certain movements, it was there. It's a very common pain point for me. That's been a common pain point for several years. And obviously I understand that it's just TMS, right? So it's just tension myositis syndrome. It absolutely does not mean that there's something physically wrong with my neck or my shoulder or my collarbone or my upper trap or anything like that. There's no nerve issues. There's no pain issues. There's nothing physically wrong with me. This pain is simply due to something that my mind is unconsciously repressing and has been unconsciously repressing. Now, there's been a really powerful insight again, which is how I've gotten through all of the spasms and all of the flare-ups since I healed. It's understanding that your pain is communicating with you. Your pain is trying to tell you something. So you need to shut up and listen, because if you continue to avoid what it's trying to tell you, it's going to get worse. And I noticed that all day. I was trying to figure out what was wrong, but I was kind of like, no, I don't want to deal with it. Like, let me keep doing stuff and keep going, so I don't have to deal with whatever it's trying to show me or whatever I'm repressing that's coming up as a physical symptom on the body. So I kind of just kept doing and kept going, so I wouldn't have to face it in a sense. But eventually, like, enough was enough. I didn't want to deal with that pain anymore. It's like, that's absolutely ridiculous. I don't suffer from pain. I don't deal with pain. There's absolutely nothing wrong with me. So if there's any pain, it's because there's a psychological reason that pain is being experienced. The physical pain is only due to a psychological repression. That is the only reason for the physical pain. The mind and body are one. And I know this to my absolute fucking core. So I went outside, went for a bit of a walk, came back, sat down, and started writing and started actually going through what I needed to deal with and trying to figure out what the fuck was I repressing, because I couldn't figure it out. And now this is a bit different now, because this is the only time I've ever done something like this. That's why I want to share this new insight with you. So I went to ChatGPT. Usually I would have to sit with myself, write, think, feel, meditate, and really dive deep to figure out exactly what was wrong and channel those insights. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is a correct way of doing this. And that is something that I recommend to everyone who needs to heal and who's going through this and who's going through anything for that matter. This is not to replace that tool. And I wouldn't typically use ChatGPT. It's just that I figured, let me brainstorm, try to have it ask me questions so I can figure out what I need to process that I may be repressing and that I may be hiding from myself unconsciously. So it wasn't even so much that I was going to ChatGPT to figure out what I was dealing with. It was so it could help me figure it out, just to give me questions, to guide me in the right direction. But I asked it, and then as I asked it with a sort of framework, actually, let me give you the framework. So here was the inspiration for why I did this. Typically, I don't go to ChatGPT for things, but part of me is like, all right, let's ask the thing that knows everything, supposedly. Let's see what it has to say. That's kind of the mindset and the frame that I use when I ask ChatGPT for certain things. But so I was really like trying to figure out, what am I repressing? What is my mind trying to protect me from? What emotions or experiences or philosophical ideations does my mind think are dangerous that it wants to give me pain instead of processing? So essentially I was trying to ask ChatGPT questions to help me unfuck where I currently am, because I feel stuck. Because I feel like, how do I achieve all of these giant desires and giant goals that I have for me? And how do I do those as quickly as possible? And what areas am I holding myself back? Where am I lacking? What do I need to know that I don't yet know? So I was trying to have it guide me along those lines in that direction. And, I kind of gave it some freedom to do that and to not tell me why it was asking me those questions. I saw something recently, maybe a few weeks ago or so, where someone asked ChatGPT, like, ask me 10 questions to help me learn more about myself than I currently do, or something along those lines. Ask me them one at a time and don't tell me why you're asking each question. So that's kind of like the premise of what was going through my head as I asked it this question. The question that it said was, when you picture your wildest dreams fully materialized, the lifestyle, the income, the impact, what's the very first thing you notice yourself doing differently in your day-to-day life compared to right now? Now, it wasn't so much the question itself, but this question then triggered me to finally break through a bit to what was going on up here that I was fucking repressing and avoiding. So I was quickly able to get into flow and type it out. I told it to sidebar off of the question thing itself because I'm dealing with kind of like a dilemma, and it kind of started to hit me. And it's about like how I feel myself struggling with not being fulfilled doing nothing, and feeling guilty for the fact that I feel like I need to be chasing excellence and chasing growth and chasing experiences in order to be fulfilled, when in reality we are the fulfillment. I am the fulfillment itself, so I should just be able to be at peace regardless. And that's kind of the dilemma that I've been having in turn. And when I was able to see some insight that ChatGPT was providing me and helping me work through my own quarrels inside my head, I felt the pain just release and lift. And I felt my words and my thoughts and my actions deeply connect to the pain that I'm experiencing. And I feel it now, even as I say it. And this might seem weird or esoteric or fucking woo-woo or whatever, but it fucking works. It is the absolute truth of the matter, is that it's all connected. It's all one system. So as I deal with this that's been clouding my head and clouding my judgment and holding me back in a sense, it's showing up here. This is the effect. This is the symptom. This is not a problem in and of itself. This is just an effect. This pain that I was having through here was just an effect. It wasn't the problem itself. It was the effect of the problem. It was the outcome of the problem. So I needed to find the source and attack the source and deal with the source, or at the very least acknowledge the existence of the actual source in order to get through what I was going through here. So ChatGPT was giving me insight about feeling stuck and feeling this paradox. Like if I'm doing nothing, I feel very empty. And if I'm relying on external things, then I feel like I'm outsourcing my fulfillment, which I don't want to be found in either of those sides. And it's just basically continuing to like tell me the things that I already truly know deep down in myself, is that I must live a life and create a life where my actions and my philosophy are one, because I am not built just to fucking exist, just to be and do absolutely fucking nothing. That is a beautiful tool, and it's a beautiful tool for growth and development, and isolation is extremely powerful, and it is a period or a state, an environment that one can continue to return to always, as a tool for growth, as a tool for depth, as a tool to find answers and discover things about yourself and life and everything. And it's powerful and an amazing place to be as a tool, but it's not a place to live your fucking life. That's why we're here. We have this beautiful world to be able to experience the most beautiful and amazing things, and we're all capable of doing that. And especially me, I feel that fire so deeply that I don't feel content just sitting and wallowing and doing absolutely fucking nothing, or staring at the fucking TV and watching other people live their lives when I need to be the one living my fucking life. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I feel guilty then for needing to live life and to be experiencing and to be pursuing excellence and growth and development in order to be fulfilled. I feel guilty. And that's something that I struggle with and that I'm working through, because there's no reason to feel guilty for the fire of who I truly fucking am. And living in alignment and in accordance with that is how I should live. So I shouldn't feel guilty for living the way I was designed to fucking live. But nonetheless, it's something I struggle with. And being able to have this insight and work through what's going on internally, and recognizing that what's internal must be reflected outwardly, and recognizing for myself and people like us that this pain is coming from this place of internal suffering and internal unconscious repression, which did not happen with your decision. You had no involvement in the fact that this happens to you. It's just something that is. So now you're faced with the choice of continuing to let it cripple you, or fight back, understand the truth, and grow. And the only way that you do that is by understanding the source and the actual truth, which is the fact that there's nothing wrong with you. And the fact that I understood this and learned it and integrated it into my life by doing practices like this, where I connect to the pain, where I do a deep dive and deep search in myself to find out what the fuck is going on, am I able to then connect that to the pain? And it happens beautifully, and by itself you feel the relief, or not even the relief, because there's still a bit of tension there, because the pain is physically happening. The little spasm or whatever is physically occurring, but the cause was from the psychological realm. So now I was able to put two and two together, to put the pain and the source of the pain together. So I felt it lift off and move, and I feel bliss and joy and peace in this area of my body as I go through it, and as I process what is causing it, and as I deal with it, and as I learn, and as I grow, and as I do a deep dive and realize what was actually causing it. And you don't need to solve it. I can't solve this existential crisis right in this moment, but I can, take one step forward, take that next step, continue to do better, continue to grow, continue to learn and to listen to exactly what I need to do in order to continue on the most effective and beautiful path of this life that I have here. When I first started doing this kind of stuff about a little over a year and a half ago, I was in dire pain all over my body. The pain was excruciating. I could barely lift my arms. I was suffering on a day-to-day basis so deeply. I didn't understand why I hurt, or I was beginning to understand why I hurt. I was beginning to understand, but it was so incredibly difficult, and I had to deal with so many incredibly difficult flare-ups and painful spasms on my own. I was completely alone, and I had no one to go through it with me. I had no one that understood my circumstance, and I had no clear path out. But I just kept doing this kind of work, this kind of deep diving, obviously without ChatGPT. But I think I recommend you to do both. And now that we have this resource, which we have available to us, it's something that could be used as a tool for absolutely anything. But even in this regard, it can help you reveal things about yourself that you don't even know yourself yet. And that is incredibly powerful. Incredibly fucking powerful. Don't feel guilty for being who you are. Don't feel guilty for what you've repressed. Don't judge yourself for what you've repressed. Don't feel resentment towards others or for judging you for having hurt or for repressing what you've repressed. It's your journey and it's your development and your growth. And ultimately, as weird as this may sound, as horrible as you may feel when I tell you this truth, it is the truth nonetheless. This pain is here to serve you. It is here to serve you. If I didn't have this spasm today, this weird shit going on that's bothering me, I would not have sat down and done the introspection that I needed to do today. I wouldn't have found out these beautiful insights about myself that I was unconsciously repressing. I wouldn't have basically received the information or realized the information that I needed to realize in order to continue my development as a spiritual being, as a human. And they've all been like that. All the spasms, all the pain has always been like that. Every truth I've discovered, every insight I've had, it sucks, but it came from the pain. Like the pain at least allowed me, or it forced me. It didn't just allow me, it absolutely forced me to go within and to find the answer. It said that you have no fucking choice. If you want to stop hurting, you're gonna find the answer. That's the only way out. That's why I need you to understand that this pain cannot be treated with treatment, with physical treatment, with stretches, with pills, with doctors, with chiropractor, with physical therapy, with acupuncture. It cannot be treated like that because it's not a physical illness. It's a physical symptom coming from a psychological cause. So you can only go to the psychological realm, to the mental plane, in order to solve what is going on, to deal with what is going on. So I urge you, go within, find the answers, connect to your pain, and you will begin to figure out things that you could have never even in your wildest dreams imagined. And when you discover all of these things, there will be so much insight and clarity that you'll wish you would have just done it sooner, but you'll be able to express gratitude for your circumstances and even for the pain, because everything along the way has been your teacher.